All right, guys, welcome back to Beautiful Mind. Today we're going to have a little Xmas special, and we're going to just talk about my 2023 forecast from the beginning to the end. I have a lot of people messaging me, Shiori, Ken. I have just so many people messaging me asking about forecasting. So I just thought maybe I'd take a few minutes and we would go over the entire 2023 and look at my forecast, and I give you a little help into seeing what things I do and why Mr. Gann was so effective at making market forecasts. All right, but before we do that, I have an Xmas special on right now, and it's going to go till December 31st, and all my forecasts and the square of 9 will be 50% off till December 31st, and you can utilize those discounts. I get a lot of people asking me about if I'm going to provide discounts, and here I am. I'm providing a discount again for these things, and I want you to be able to have this kind of esoteric knowledge. This will not include my online or my workshops. This I'm not discounting, and inside of that is all the forecasting that you will need moving forward, and you would be able to make accurate forecasts. All right, enough with that. Let's move on. We're going to talk about the 2023 year here, and we're going to talk about my forecast that I built, and we're going to go over the year and talk about it. But before we do that, we need to understand what Mr. Gann was trying to teach us about forecasting, and Mr. Gann makes it very plain and clear to us in his writings, and I'm going to show you just exactly them. So let's just take a little look at this. I'm sorry, my desk is full of all this stuff. Mr. Gann clearly states here that the Bible meant a measurement of 360 days is 360 years or 360 degrees, a measurement known and used by astrologers in old times and understood and used by modern astrologers for measuring time. He knew that half a time meant 180 degrees or 180 days or years, because Ezekiel had said that the Lord had appointed a day for a year. Okay? This is the first one. Then we're going to go back and we're going to look at another chapter. That's right, guys. It's the cycle of Uranus. And I want to show you this in this book because it's really important. Mr. Gann states here, just got to find it really quickly here. And he states in here, a day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as a day. Okay, so, and if we go back and we talk about these major cycles that run out in 105,000 years, we can easily find what will happen 1 year, 100 years, or 1,000 years. If we just look back at the cycles of 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago, you will note that when we compare all these years, you will find that Mr. Gann is 100% correct when he speaks about when things crossed the ocean, when planes flew. When we just add 100 years to these things, we can find the cycle, right? The 100-year cycle. You know, we just want to see what happened in the past. And then that's how we will know what will happen in the future. So we measure from these years 100 years back, and we can find out what happened in that cycle. In that cycle, there was, you know, cholera breakouts, and there was tons of things going on in that period. There was war and crop failures. There was lots of stuff. So it's pretty easy to forecast into the future when you know where you were in the past. Okay, so let's move on a little bit more. I get a lot of people asking me how I forecast. You can purchase this course here from WD Gann. Just go on over there and say hi to Cody Jones for me. I purchased all these courses from his mom and dad back in the day, and I utilize all the attributes of these courses. Everything that I do is 100% Mr. Gann. Inside of this commodity course, 2 other courses came that Mr. Gann populated. One was just straight up forecasting. His other one was forecasting grains by the time cycles. Each one of these 2 documents, Mr. Gann sold for $2,500 in 1939. That's $50,000 US today. So he didn't mess around. He knew exactly what he was talking about, and he felt this information was very important. And I concur the same. I use all this information to make up all my forecasts. This is how I am able to be accurate. This isn't my work. This is the work of William Gann, and I do it under the watchful eye of him. And everything that I do is 100% original. All right, so you will get these forecasting documents, and you will get all the knowledge how to forecast correctly. Let's go now take a look at our yearly forecast and what it was that I was doing to get things right. All right. Okay. When we look at making a forecast, Mr. Gann states clearly we need to look at the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. And we also need to look at the odd cycles. This one is 130 year. Then we flip down to the 5-year, 7-year, and the 15-year. Utilizing all this information based on what stocks did over the course of 130 years here, I go back and I compare the market cycles. Over the year, we were talking about my forecast, and I was saying that it's possible and likely we were following this 80, 90, and 100-year cycle, and that we would have a bottom and a pullback and a fast move up somewhere around this September, October. So the 80 and the 90 and the 100-year cycle have in fact satisfied that. However, we have another very, very, very powerful cycle that plays out, and that's the 60-year cycle. And this one has been playing along absolutely perfectly during the year, and I've been watching them. And in comparison of these, I feel that we are tracking very strongly to our 80, 90, 100, and our 60-year cycle. Not to forget our 30-year cycle, or the movement of Saturn, plus our double 20-year cycle and our 10-year cycle. So in looking at this, I've pointed out that sometime in this December and January period would be these, swing tops at the end of the year. And this has in fact occurred just as I've been talking about. So this cycle, however, continued down in the 80. However, we still had our move up into our November period from our bottoms here in September, October, right? We had this blast down and a reset. And we're going to go have a look at the chart in a second, and we're going to quantify what it is we're talking about here, because this is important that we make connections with the past. The past is but a repetition of the future, and there is nothing new under the sun. We must study the past to know what will happen in the future. Okay, so using these, I was able to ascertain that we would have an early year top a pullback into the late part of the year, and then a late year top. And that's happened exactly as I stated it would. And, you guys have seen my ephemeris where I write stuff on the top of it, and I discuss with you what will happen. So let me just kind of move to that as we discuss this in a bit more detail here. I'm sorry my voice is a little raspy these days. I'm just getting over the flu right now. I've had a real bad case of that. So protect yourself out there. I'm sending you guys positive, good vibes. Okay, so you can see from here, we're now going to go to the chart. I'd like to keep this as big as I can, but I do need to show you the movements that we were in fact experiencing. So from the beginning of the year, my forecast called for this 13, 14, and 15-month low. All right, let's go take a quick look at that now, guys. This is how I'm able to do these things, and I'm going to just show you right now. Okay. This is another reason how I'm able to be so accurate. I made this forecast for the 2022 and 2023 year based upon the movements of Bitcoin in the last 3 campaigns that it's had, as well as the last few campaigns where we had our last maneuver. And I was stating that in my forecast here, and here it is, guys. I'm just going to make this a little bigger because it's, I don't just make this stuff up. I made this forecast May 2nd, 2022. And I stated that the possible moves down were these 12, 13, 14, and 15-year months in April, May, June of 2022. All right, we were watching for these. But we were also watching the 20, 22, and 27 months. And that was December 22, our February 2023, and our July 2023 is our 27-month count from our our April 1st top. That's that one. And then our second calculation down here of all these monthly counts is down here. And I nailed them exactly on time perfectly. And it is only because I've used the methods of William Gann. There's no other way that I would have found these unless I did the market evaluations that I've been taught. So I stated all these question marks. Will I be correct with my ascertain these monthly moves? Because it's re-replicated every single time. I've told you 11, 12, 20. These are all these counts here, guys, and I'm watching them all, right? Again, 14 months, 20 months, 3 months, 6 months, 11, 12, 27 months, plus our 20-month bottoms too, okay? Like, I'm cataloging all of it. And all I did was take what happened in the past and I directly lined it up with what's happening in our present cycle. And I was able to find the 12, 13, 14, and 15-month bottoms in both of these cycle tops from this April 13th top and this November 10th top, right, which is our cycle top back here, of course. Let me just kind of make that a little bit smaller here, because they're all from these tops. Okay, guys, that's what I've done. I've taken these recordings from these 2 tops, and I have found these bottoms. Just want to move that stuff out of the way. It looks like it's a little too convoluted right now. So let's just hide that. This is how I was able to find these 12, 13, 14, and 15-month bottoms for our cycle. That is exactly what this is. And I can show you how to do all this, but I can't just teach it all online because I have to force you through it. Because if you don't do the steps, then you're just going to keep coming back to me and saying you don't understand or you would like me to point it out for you. I want to teach you these things. This is my speciality. This is what I'm good at. This is my calling. So, with that, you can hook up with me and I'll teach you how to do exactly all of this. Okay, so I stated from our bottoms that we would have these significant bottoms, and I've also stated we would have our 20-month bottom. Let's go take a look at that one. That one was our July 2023, right? Right in here, we had this July period, and I was calling that we would have something happen in here, and it held on until this late August, 1 month longer. So it was pretty much a direct hit. I was calling for something to happen at the end of August. If you guys been paying attention to what I've been saying, you'll be gently rewarded. I also stated that in September would be our 22-month bottom. Did we have a bottom in September? We did. We had a 22-month bottom from our top. Okay? It's following the sequences. This isn't difficult, guys. It's not difficult. We just have to pay attention to the cycles. Okay, so our next one now is stating that by February 2024 will be our 27-month move. Okay, from our tops. Okay, so just because I'm saying February, doesn't necessarily mean it will be the bottom there. We could have a higher bottom. It could be a sideways move and then a move up. We could experience a significant move and just move right back down to here. You know, anything can happen here. So we are watching these months. These are really important times. And if you want to buy Bitcoin in a safer way, then you need to be patient and wait for the pullbacks because we have a lot of volatility coming up here. We got all these fiat ETF Bitcoin derivatives, and they are derivatives, guys. They're not Bitcoin valued. You're just keeping your money in the fiat system. If you don't buy Bitcoin, you're just buying the bankers' terrible derivatives, And I'm just going to explain to you really quickly. Back in 2003, I wrote my stock certificate to be a stock trader to sell you stocks. However, just when I went to go write my exam, before I could write that, I was told that I must sign a non-disclosure agreement, that I would not disclose selling you crappy stuff at whatever investment firm that I would be picked up with. I was in disbelief and I didn't write the exam. I broke down and there was no way I could sell anything unethical to someone, like call you up and tell you should buy stock ABC, and then my entire firm would short you and take your money. That's what a broker is. That's right. You go broker. You need to make logical and sensible determinations, and you need to use the forecasting methods of W.D. Gann. And I'm attesting to that. There's no other way to find the tops and bottoms and the changes in trend. Okay, enough with that. So February is about to be somewhere a possible higher bottom, maybe a breakaway down, maybe a breakaway move up. We'll just have to see what the forecast states. My forecasts have already been made for 2 years in advance. So moving ahead now, I've laid out my yearly forecast. I showed you the market cycles going back 130 years. I showed you that I've taken the 12-year cycle in this whole thing here, going back to our very first campaign in 2011, and I measured out everything. And that's exactly what I do. Mr. Gann has taught me to do these things, and I do them, and he's 100% correct. His methods are correct. I just follow them. So we're waiting for this February. There's something going to be around here. So after these Bitcoin ETFs come out and, they've absorbed all the fiat money, and BlackRock has forced you into a terrible investment, right? Let's face it, guys. Bitcoin is not regulated. It's peer-to-peer. It has no governing body looking over it or doing stuff to it. That's why BlackRock and all these other Grayscale and the SEC, that's why they're desperate to get you to buy all their crappy coins like Binance and all these other horrible freaking coins that have no proof of work like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is backed by miners. Miners are nodes. Basically, they're accountants. The government doesn't like accountants, especially ones that are ethical. Anyway, which is why they want to sell you, that's right, their crypto dollars, which is a really bad thing. It's really bad. Anyways, this is my forecasting for the year for 2023. This is how I've been so accurate, and I'm able to forecast what will happen. I've been talking to you about this 31, the 34, the 37, and up eventually to our 48 and possibly 53, but let's not get, too forward. It's possible. But we're about to have a major event occur here in this January period. You've had a look at my early forecast where I've shown you January. You've been lucky to see that. I've gone over my entire last year now. I've showed you my forecasts. I've showed you how I found the bottoms using the tops. Tops call bottoms. Bottoms call tops. All right. So in comparing these market cycles, that's how I'm able to do those things. Further to, if we were to use our simple moving averages alone, these, you will note that when we end and a new campaign begins, all of these small moving averages that are super tangled up begin to untangle themselves. And not until we reach this bottom here and it wasn't until right here, right where we reached our cycle top here, all of these moving averages untangled themselves and presented themselves in the correct order. And then we had our top. Look what happened to us here. So we came up and retested this top, got weak. That's right. We moved back down as I stated we would do this, and the lines all tangled up again. And what happened? Well, we popped out after that 180 days from our cycle top, and our moving averages, they all untangled themselves here. You can see they swiftly untangled themselves right here. And now they're all in the correct order, okay? So that is telling me that a correction is imminent, in which the lines will come back and convolute and tangle up before we reset and move back up again. Where will that end up and be? You're going to need to buy my forecast to find out what exactly is happening. All right, guys. I'm out. Merry Christmas, peace and love. Reach out to me if you want. Hit me up. My courses and my online stuff is soon available here. It's not It's not on a discount, so I'm apologizing for that now, guys. But you can certainly go down and any one of these number 1 through 4, 50% off till the end of December here, and it is a great gift for any researcher to heighten and sharpen their forecasting abilities. And you'll be ahead of the curve when using these forecasts. I go to great pain to make these as original and perfect as I possibly can. All right, you guys, thanks very much for your interest in the works of William Gann and what we do here on Beautiful Mind. Peace and love, and have a safe Christmas.